introduce our panel. Kate Harper, Representative Kate Harper has represented the 61st Legislative District since 2000. She has focused her legislative efforts on dealing with the effects of urban sprawl, managing traffic congestion, and protecting open space, especially environmentally sensitive areas and farms. Representative Harper is the chairperson of the House Transportation Committee's Subcommittee on Public Transportation, and she is the vice chairman of the House Ethics Committee. Also, we have the State Representative Tim Briggs. Representative Tim Briggs represents the 49th Pennsylvania Legislative District, which consists of Upper Murray Township and the boroughs of Bridgeport and West Conshohocken, as well as portions of Lower Murray Township. Tim serves on the House Appropriations Committee, as well as the Children, Youth, Finance, and Local Government Committees. He's also a member of the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency. And the third member of our panel, Chris Simmons, is the ACT National Public Policy Council. He's a government affairs executive and is responsible for addressing federal legislation and state regulatory and tax issues, pursuit of innovative financing mechanisms to support combined corporate and public interests, funding compliance reviews, and training. And he's very much involved in the support of corporate interests by representations of company in trade associations and public interest organizations. Chris is currently the Vice President-elect of the Association for Commuter Transportation Act, as well as the chair of the Next Authorization Task Force, and elected at-large director of the board, past president of the ACT Cascade chapter, and chair of the 2000 International Conference. Chris has presented on the Association's national public policy efforts, as well as training members on promoting their programs to public funders. It's now a great pleasure to begin the panel with Kate Harper, and ask Kate to come up and. Wait, there he is.
Sorry. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Nice to see all of you, and nice to be here. All the movers and shakers of things that move in the Delaware Valley are here. I can see and recognize that, so it's good to see you. What I wanted to focus on today was how the recent election will affect transportation funding. And not to start with a downer, but I think it has affected transportation funding in a bad way. And I'll just lay that out there and tell you that in order to find money for road projects and mass transit, we're going to have to be very innovative and do things that we haven't done before. First of all, let's set the stage. Before the recent election, I would say the House Republican Caucus, which is now the majority caucus, had about 25% of its members who were fiscal conservatives. These folks voted no on everything, absolutely everything. They've been joined by, I would say, a sizable new cohort that will come in and want to vote no on everything. I want to say that in Harrisburg, heretofore, there's been a recognition that we need more money for transportation funding, both mass transit and roads and bridges. But I don't think that that is the general view of the public. And I think you can expect all of the representatives, but particularly those who are new, to be focused on what the public that elected them wants them to do. And what the public that elected them wants them to do is cut spending and not raise taxes. And therefore, you're going to bump up against the need for more money for roads, bridges, and mass transit, and a reluctance on the part of people newly elected or having held their seats in a tough election against voting for funds to do that. Pennsylvania has relied on the gas tax principally to fund roads and bridges. The gas tax is not doing it for us anymore. The money that we need for roads and bridges is outstripping the money that we're getting from the gas tax. And because the gas tax is a flat cents per gallon, even when your constituents are hurting because of prices that go up and down seemingly irrationally at the pump, we're not getting any more money. And because there's less traffic moving in parts of the state that are experiencing a very severe recession, we're getting less gas taxes than we expect. So we have talked about switching from a flat cents per gallon to some other way of getting a gas tax, miles traveled, that sort of a thing. But that all costs money to put into effect. And I think the big question legislators are going to be saying is, how much will this cost and where are we going to get the funds? I think you will see more public-private partnerships. I think the Turnpike was the first attempt at that. It was not well handled by the previous administration and did not go well. I think there'll be a lot more acceptance of things that would add new capacity with new funding. I just don't know if the math works. In other words, an extra lane, an extra bridge, an extra something which is tolled is likely to be approved much more easily than tolling Route 422, okay? So I think we're going to be looking for those things, and I think it will be difficult to find money for transportation. By the way, transportation continues to be an issue for my district, which runs from Plymouth Meeting to Lansdale along the spine of the Northeast Extension. But the people I represent are actually all stuck in traffic due to detours for projects that are underway. So while they complain about traffic, they're not going to perceive a need to increase spending for traffic problems and transportation projects. Couple that with the distress which is being felt by government at all levels. The county, which has stepped in to help some projects, is not going to have any extra money this year. Local governments, no extra money this year. Everywhere in the county, Montgomery County this is, has been plagued by lowered assessments and higher needs. So the real property taxes are not throwing off what they used to. And earned income taxes are maybe holding steady or not showing any increase, and for a while they were. Governments that live on things that are by their nature temporary, and this would include Montgomery County, like transfer taxes, have had a great dip in revenues. At the state, we've also had a dip in revenues because we live on sales taxes, income taxes, business taxes. All those things have been down for 2 years now. Meanwhile, our expenditure needs have gone up. We owe the federal government $3 billion in unemployment taxes. Our whole budget is $28 billion, so that's a significant amount of money. In addition, because of the recession, the social service needs have gone up. Welfare is way up, Medicaid is way up. All those things that we have to do to take care of people, to provide a safety net, all those expenses are up, revenues are down. Look for things that may not make sense but might happen anyway, like the sale of state assets. I think you're going to see maybe the sale of the liquor stores. The question is, what do we do with that money? Does it plug 1 year's budget hole, or do we save some of it for the next year? So I think the message is, I think you will see more public-private partnerships. There's legislation that almost made it through this term and will likely get started early and go through next time. I think you'll see more innovative financing, like Lexus lanes for adding a little capacity, which is tolled. Other than that, I think you're going to see a vast majority of legislators who are just going to vote no, and that does not bode well for transportation funding. There's also a great fear of debt in Harrisburg. Now, people were elected in this last election on reducing the size of the state's debt. Pennsylvania doesn't actually have a very bad debt ratio, but debt has increased exponentially under our present governor. And I think you will find people reluctant to increase debt even for things that last, like bridges, and in my case, open space. I think you'll find a great reluctance. You try to tell people, look, when you bought your house, how many of you remember that moment when they hand you that piece of paper that the federal government makes you get that tells you that your $300,000 house will cost you $650,000 by the time it's done? So debt can be explained You know, you can explain to people, look, for things that last, debt is okay. But I'm telling you, this year it's going to be a hard sell. In addition, you need to couple that with the fact that our governor took a no tax pledge. So increasing taxes is going to be very difficult. You will find a governor who doesn't want to increase taxes because he took a pledge not to do so. And you'll find Republican majorities who don't want to embarrass their governor into having a read my lips, no more taxes moment, okay? So I think it will be very difficult to get any kind of tax increases through. So I know the panel will take questions later.